Welcome to Live Eat Frank, Mike. I'm Mike here with Frank. Frank, man, finally the books get us. Finally, they were hunting for us and they got us. I went 1-2 last week. I think you went 1-2 last week too.
Oh, it was brutal, and unfortunately it started with Penn State. Me and 5 million other people who jumped on that 4.5 points. But
I didn't know we were doing a college football podcast too.
no, we're not actually. But I think that was the beginning of my end for the whole week.
Yeah,
It set the tone.
I mean, you've been killing college football for the last couple
I
weeks.
have crushed college football.
We've been killing college football. We've been killing the NFL.
Yes.
I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can't expect us to win every week. It's just not possible.
What do you mean we can't win every week?
I mean, we're probably not going to win every week.
I want to win.
I want to win every week too, Frank, but I'm just trying to give the people some perspective.
Trust me, and in that perspective, I'm going to bring this up real quick. We're in that contest, and the leader, he had 23.5 wins. I think I had 18.5. He had 19.5. And well, we're like, okay, we're gonna catch up with this guy, and boom, we get hammered, and he lost. He went 0-5. So he's still sitting at 23.5.
Yeah, but we went 1-4, so.
Yeah, I agree. 1-4. Philly was our winner, and I had bet all those teams actually too. So we got, but we're gonna come back this week.
Yeah, we're gonna come back this week. Listen, having 6 weeks without a losing week is very good.
I agree.
So, and it's not like we didn't have a great week last week, but it's not like we went 0-6 between the two of us. We went 2-4, and the last couple weeks we've had like 2 losers. So, I mean, we're well above 50% for the season, and 54% is what you need to make money. And so we're doing well. We're doing really well.
I'm going to talk about that Penn State game one more time.
It's clearly started.
I knew I was in trouble when I watched the pregame, and they did a little preview on the quarterback for Penn State. I did not know he's from Medina, Ohio, which is where I'm close to, from Cleveland. They were showing him with pictures growing up as a kid with all the Ohio State and stuff. Like, how did this kid end up in Penn State? But this is what really killed me. But he's 19 years old, and I'm like, this kid's only 19 years old, Frank.
Oh my gosh! Who cares? It's college.
It's college. But boy, he looked like a 19-year-old kid. But you're going into the biggest stage of your career, of your life.
At Ohio State.
It was a tough game. All right, enough of that. I just wanted to mention.
You just wanted to whine as you do.
I do. I was just, I wanted to cry when I got like that kind of money on a game like that. But anyways, go ahead.
Anyway,
so
Frank didn't cry. Don't worry. He's a grown-ass man. He figured it out.
Yeah, well, we take our lumps and we get up the next morning and we
I'm just kidding.
put on our helmets and our gear and we do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
We are. Well, let's talk about a little bit about last week. I mean,
Okay.
I know that we didn't do well last week. The Buccaneers let me down. The Eagles let me down. The Eagles didn't let me down. The Eagles. I will say the Eagles were my biggest bet. I did shy away from them Sunday night a little bit. I wanted to hammer it, but after losing the Bucs game and what was my other game last week? The Bucs.
Oh, Tampa, and I was right down that same road with you on Tampa. I really like Tampa. San Diego.
Oh, San Diego was my other team, and they were in that game. Jeez Louise.
They were in that game, and I'll tell you what. And looking at this week, Dallas is playing
the Rams.
The Rams, and San Diego, their defense really looked good against Dallas, and I think that influenced us against a little bit going against Kansas the next week. San Diego's going to get in there. They look good against Dallas. They should, like you're right, they should have won that game. But I'm now starting to realize that Dallas's offense is not all that good.
No,
they made a last place defense look like a second or third place defense.
When we go, it seems like with this Dallas team, when they go against decent competition, they're just not successful on offense like they should be.
They're not that good.
I don't think McCarthy's that great of a coach. I think he's kind of washed up. There might be some big changes. Listen, they have all the talent in the world. And every year, man, it seems like they just can't put consistency together. And at that point, you got to think, what's the constant in this?
No.
Well, it's Dak Prescott and it's Mike McCarthy, and we're going to see what happens at the end of this year, but if they don't pick it up, I mean, both those guys might be gone.
I agree.
So we'll see what happens. It was a tough week. A lot of interesting stuff happened this week, though. And I told you these last 2 weeks, I haven't had. This last week, I felt good about a lot of games, and I played a couple other games for small, and I hit them, of course. Of course, the smaller bets hit and the big ones hit. But
what's that thing about units?
Yeah,
we're not going there, but go ahead.
But it's just you're gonna have losers, and it's all about how you bounce back. And you got to take the information, and you can't chase, and you just gotta stick to your gut, stick to your notes, stick to your stats, stick to how you play. And we're gonna get right back into this. And Frank, well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna kick us right off.
Go for it.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, both Frank and I have 2 plays and 2 leans, and I'm kind of thinking of putting a third lean in there, but I'm just not sure yet. But I'll tell you what it is. But our two,
well, you also have a Twitter, so
check out the Twitter.
He'll
let me be Frank Mike, no E at the end of Mike. So let me be Frank MIK is our Twitter handle. So listen, I like this 49ers team to bounce back. I think it's my favorite spot on the board. I get it. They're coming off a short week. Bengals are coming off of a bye. Bengals just dumpstered the Cardinals, and they started to look good. Burrow had a good game. Everyone's saying that Burrow's back. He's ready to put it together. Listen, this is in the 49ers, and we're looking at -3, -3.5. So
that line is low.
I know it's low.
It's ugly low.
And we have seen the 49ers lose to the Browns and the Vikings in back-to-back weeks. And their offense did not look the greatest. They might have Debo back for this one.
Some of these defenses have now figured out. Maybe these coaches saw something in the game plan against. I don't know. I'm just assuming, but maybe they saw something, to shut down Purdy down a little bit. But I think it's not going to matter.
I can't see San Francisco losing here.
Cincinnati's not that good.
And I just don't think Cincinnati, I just don't think they have their defense, and I need Joe Burrow to prove it to me. Now, if Joe Burrow and the Bengals go into San Francisco and come out with a win or come out with a very, very tight loss, and I lose this game, that's something that I'm okay with because but listen, because
until the next morning I hear you.
But between I call Frank and I say,
what the hell happened?
Why did you let me place that bet? Hey, how dare you?
I'm going to be honest with you. Keep going. I'm with you on the 49ers.
I know.
I got to agree with you.
I'm not butting here. I'm just saying that I'm trying to kind of tie it back into what we were talking about earlier. Just because you have bad weeks and you bet on teams that they don't come through doesn't mean you can't bet on them again. And the 49ers this year, I know that they came out red hot start off 5-0. They're 5-2 now. They haven't looked great in their past 2 games, but they also missed a couple field goals in that Vikings game. They missed a couple opportunities. I think this 49ers defense can put a ton of pressure on Burrow and really disrupt that offense. And I know that I saw the Vikings do it to the 49ers, and I saw the Browns do it to the 49ers where they get to Purdy. I just don't have faith in this Bengals defense yet
I agree with that.
to get pressure on them and be successful against this dynamic offense. I think that
Is McCaffrey back?
No, he is back. He played last week, but Debo might be back this week, which is big for us too. So keep an eye on that injury report. But I really like this 49ers team. I think I have the coaching edge. I think I have the defense edge. And I'm not sold on this Bengals offense yet. I need another week to see how they do. And if they beat the 49ers, then maybe the Bengals are back and it's time to tail the Bengals. But until I see it, I just don't see how this line is so low. We're talking on a neutral field, the 49ers are a half-point favorite because you got 3 points for home field advantage. This is in Candlestick. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. I think the 49ers are going to come out this week, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of pummeled them. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. So I really like this 49ers team -3.5. Then my other play is going to be the Titans. I almost blanked there, and I really like the Titans. We've been talking about the Titans all week.
We bet it. As soon as we did our lines, we both agreed, right off the get-go. I had a Atlanta +6. He had a +4. And here we are getting, Tennessee?
+3 right now.
Yeah, did it hit 3?
It's hit 3.
I know, but on opening day, Monday morning, when we do our lines.
It was Tennessee -1, right? That's what I got.
No, I got Tennessee
Tennessee +1.
So I jumped on it. I really liked it.
I jumped on it. We jumped on it for small. Listen.
We always jump on small.
At the beginning of the week.
Well, you used to jump big back in the day. But with all these injury reports coming out, with these coaches, well, I think we're gonna have this guy play this week. He
But I'm
might
not
play,
sure.
But I'm not sure. Oh, we're in a big trade this week, and we're not gonna tell nobody until Wednesday or Thursday that we traded one of our top defensive players. This is just crap. So you've got to jump in on it early when you really like a game, but just don't go squirrely yet.
Yeah, you
that's
gotta
my
wait for these
opinion.
injuries. And in this Tennessee game, Kevin Byard, the free safety for the Titans, got traded away, which is a big defensive piece for them to lose. And I know they don't have Ryan Tannehill. And I'm thinking of adding more onto this game. I haven't decided yet. I already have a
Three
decent
and a
amount on
half
it.
would be pretty.
Yeah, but if it gets to 3.5, like steady 3, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you in on a little tidbit of my life. I work right across state line of Nevada, and I work in California, so I can't bet during the day. So when it hit 3, I didn't have the chance to jump on it. But I'm definitely considering this. I think the 49ers are my best play, but this is very close to it. And let me tell you why. I hate Desmond Ridder. We saw it again this week. Every week he tries to throw away the game. And the Buccaneers should have had that game, but their Buccaneers.
49 seconds left on the game on a 5-yard
my
line.
gosh, it was
We
bad.
had this game, and they kick a field goal because they wanted that fourth down. You got to kick a field goal. And then, I'm watching the little ticker tape underneath the thing because I'm watching another game, and I'm like, what do you mean it's 16-13?
Oh, I know.
It was like 10 seconds later. They must just, I didn't see how it
The
happened.
Bucs should have won that game. And listen, it is in Tennessee. How is Tennessee getting points in Tennessee? Because Malik Willis is playing? Well, we saw Malik Willis against the Ravens. We saw him be successful.
He almost beat the Ravens.
Against the Ravens. He almost beat them in that game. They got stopped, they had a kick.
1 yard line, weren't they? And then
But-
they kept throwing back 9 yards they tackled the. Excuse me.
Oh, right in the mic. Thank you for that, Frank.
You're welcome.
But anyway, well, Frank is having a coughing fit over
I'll give you some water here.
here.
Do you want me to continue?
I will continue for us. This Titans game, they still have Derrick Henry. They still have a solid offensive line. And I actually think that Malik Willis might be an upgrade right now over Tannehill. Tannehill has not looked good. Okay, he's not looked good. Malik Willis is
So you're
dynamic.
thinking this quarterback's better. than
Sorry,
Tannehill.
I didn't mean Malik Willis. I meant Will Levis, because Will Levis is starting in this game. They got a plethora of quarterbacks over there in Tennessee, and none of them are particularly good. But we get a rookie quarterback coming in, and that could be dangerous for some people. But Will Levis was very highly touted coming out of college. A lot of people thought he might have even been the first quarterback off the board this last draft, earlier in the draft process. I think this guy has skills, and I think that the change might be good for them because I don't think Tannehill's taken this team to the potential. The Kevin Byard trade worries me just a tiny bit because it may be Tennessee selling. But we're getting Mike Vrabel, one of the best coaches as a home dog, at home with a field goal against the Falcons and Desmond Ridder. This deep. We have to remember this Titans team beat a Chargers team that a lot of people think are solid. And is this Falcons team better than them? I don't see it. And I think this Titans team can run on them. Titans have a good run defense, and I think the Falcons will be unsuccessful to run the ball. And we all know how I feel about the Falcons. If they can't run the ball, they can't win the game. And so I like the Titans here +3.
That's your 2?
That's my 2.
All right, well, my 2. I'm going Miami. I've been on Miami all year. Why am I going? I'm not stopping now.
Seems like every week you're betting.
I'm betting them every week. I have to. I didn't, of course, did take Philly with you last week against them.
Very true.
You did. It was a good choice. It really was. But coming off that loss, New England played them close, and we talked about how New England at home plays these teams close.
Even not at home, they play them close. That was at Miami, and they played it tight.
I thought this game was at Miami.
No, this game's at
Miami.
At New England. Is it at Miami?
It's at Miami.
No.
So
I know everyone. I look so impenetrable, like I could never be wrong because I'm 99% of the time I'm not. But Frank gets one over on me every once in a while.
Yeah. But get back to I think New England, and of course my best bet last week was Buffalo, and I wanted to cry from the beginning.
Your first best bet that did not win of the season.
It's true. It's my first one bet, and I just. And he tried to talk me out of it. He said, you got to remember, New England.
We talked about it at the beginning of the year.
We talked about the beginning of the year. But the numbers, and if you look past last week's podcast, my numbers just showed it the other way, and I had to go with it. but it was ugly. And then I realized, again, do your research. I didn't realize that a lot of players for Buffalo and the defense are out. They're still out.
Well, the other thing is it's hard to take that Patriots team. I mean, before this game against Buffalo, they just looked lifeless. They couldn't score the ball. They couldn't move the ball. Their defense was kind of getting shellacked by teams. I mean, it's
good. We got that alien Josh Allen back.
Back to alien Allen, of course.
And if you look at last year's against the spread, I mean, Buffalo won, 10, 12 games?
Yeah, they just
can't cover that spread.
It's because the spread's always so inflated because they're a high-powered team.
I think there's a lot of inflation. I think my line here is a little bit inflated, to be honest with you.
Well, listen, I actually, I am not. Frank is the favorite better. We should start calling him Frank the favorite. Because,
and I buy those points too.
Yes, he does.
I spent that money.
and listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really like laying points like that. And I'll talk about it a little later with one of my leans. But I actually don't mind this game. Usually I'm busting Frank's balls about all his picks. But this game, am I going to bet it? Probably not. But I don't mind it. It seems like a classic letdown spot for New England. But Miami is going to
still terrible.
This seems like a turnaround spot for Miami, and this seems like a letdown spot for New England. Can New England come back and be competitive in another game? Miami's going to be hungry. They're going to want this game after losing to the Eagles, and everyone's saying that, oh, Miami's not as good anymore. They're kind of a flash in the pan. They can't beat good teams because they got crushed by the Bills and they got crushed by the Eagles.
They are losing to the better team, but New England is so far from a good team.
But New England is not the better team, and we see how they come out against these poor teams, and they'll run it up.
Yes.
And Mike McDaniel loves to run it up, so I don't mind the pick at all. I think it's solid, but.
And my second one.
Go ahead, give it to us.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sitting down?
I'm clearly.
Clearly, okay. I'm going with you on the 49ers.
Oh, I love it. Just kidding. I hate it.
Well, don't we do well when we both find the same pick?
No, well, it depends on the year. This year, when we've aligned on the same pick, yes, we've done well. Last year, when we aligned on the same pick, oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
If you go check out our old podcast from last year, you can check out all our picks, but you'll hear me talk about it last year. Every time Frank and I aligned, it seemed like it went the wrong way. But
not this year.
But not this year. This year, we've done pretty good so far.
Well, we've had a good season anyway.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so I'm going 49ers. I think this line's too low. I think the defense is still the number one defense in football. They're playing at home. They're going to be hungry. Cincinnati's defense has improved nothing. I agree with him. Burrow is still shaky at best. Cincinnati does come back in the second half of these seasons, but it's not the second half of the season just yet. So I love the 49ers. This line is an ugly line.
We're getting a discount, aren't we? We're getting a discount because they lost these last two games on games they shouldn't have lost.
Did you see Frisco losing 3? Period?
No. We just saw Frisco be a 7-point away favorite. Now they're home against a Bengals team that hasn't really proven anything to us, and they're laying 3.5. Oh my gosh. We're just getting discounts, and you got to take it. And like I said earlier, if we lose this game, we lose this game. I mean, that's betting. You win some, you lose some. But I don't see us losing this game at all, and I think it's the best bet on the board.
All right.
But let's get to our leans, Frank. And I actually have
our leans. I mean,
we haven't bet them yet.
Yeah. They're ugly lines.
Yeah, this week has a lot of ugly lines, Frank. A lot of ugly lines.
Did you see the dog at homes?
Oh, dogs at home.
Oh my God.
Short home favorites, pick'em games. I mean, it's.
Besides last week in our contest, which was our worst.
Yeah, worst.
The other one that was our worst was we went 2 and 3, and we were lucky that weekend to get the second one on a Monday night. But we had all the dogs at home. They were all like 2 and 3 point dogs at home. And they just all got banged up. I don't see that
Frank's suffering from PTSD.
I don't see that happening again this week. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Let me get into my lines. I'll be pretty short and sweet with this because, and like I said, we're taping this on a Wednesday, Frank, which usually we tape on Fridays. So we don't have as much information as we usually do. So really watch our Twitter this week, ladies and gentlemen. Really watch our Twitter for our picks. But 2 games: Seahawks -3.5 and Lions -8. Listen, I'm going to start with the Lions because they're my team, and you know I love those boys. They should blow out these Raiders. And the only thing that has me second guessing it is the line being so high and the public hammering the Lions, and it's going to be such a public favorite. I hate backdoor covers, but listen, this Lions
Raiders have a record on Monday nights.
yeah, and listen, this Lions team is good. I mean, I would kind of put them in the same grouping as Miami. That they haven't proven themselves against the good teams yet. They lost to the Seahawks barely, and they lost to the Baltimore Ravens in convincing fashion on the road. But this team is good. Their defense might be playing a little bit out of their head right now, but this Raiders team is not good. They can't cover. Well, actually, their coverage unit is better than expected, but it's still not good. Max Crosby is the only one on that defensive line that can rush since Chandler Jones left. He's a beast.
He's a JJ Watt.
But other than him and like Amik Robinson or Robertson in the secondary, they don't really have much going for them on the defense. I think Jared Goff can pick this team apart. He notoriously does better in domes. It's in a dome. It's the Lions are home, and I really like this Lions team because Jimmy G might be back. How healthy is he? And if he goes down, we're looking at Brian Hoyer or Aaron.
He's not that good anyways.
Yeah, and he's
I
not
loved him last year, but I think in San Francisco they played for this guy.
They
got up for this guy. They played 100%.
The only game that they scored 20 points in was against the New England Patriots, and we all know that was just. I mean, the Patriots are pathetic, and they barely scored over 20 points. Other than that, they haven't scored over 20 points. They just got destroyed by the Bears, who I know the Lions would absolutely maul. So we're getting the Lions at home here at 8. I like this play. If you want to buy it down to 7, you go right ahead. I don't mind that at all. I don't like buying points, but I think the Lions come out here and just absolutely destroy this team. They're coming off an embarrassing loss. Dan Campbell is going to require perfection from this team, and they got a little bit of a longer week. They're home Monday night primetime game. We saw what they did to the Packers on primetime. I like the Lions here, and then I'll touch on the Seahawks here. Listen, this Seahawks team. In the beginning of the year, everyone had doubts because they got beat by the Rams. We now see that the Rams might be a formidable foe, and maybe they'll even come out of the wild card. Maybe we'll see. But I like the Seahawks -3.5 here. I've been high on the Seahawks, Frank, since the beginning of the year. I told you from the beginning of the year. I said the Seahawks and Rams are going to be sneaky this year. Both of them might challenge for the division. I like the Seahawks here because I think their offense is dynamic. We don't know if we'll have Metcalf or not. But I think their defense is coming around. Their defense is finally healthy. They had a bye a couple weeks ago, and they're finally healthy, and they're coming back, and they're being forceful. Pete Carroll's one of the best coaches in the NFL, in my opinion, and I think he'll get this team up. They're at home. It's a really big game for them. They need to win this game. They're playing the Browns. Watson looks terrible. He's supposed to play. He got a series and a half last week, looked awful, threw a pick. I mean, the only thing that has me as a pause and makes this a lean, 1, the hook at 3.5. 2, I'm a little bit nervous about the Seattle offensive line against that Browns defensive line. And I don't, Geno hasn't really proved that he's going to be elite this year to me. So we'll see. But those are my 2 leans for right now. I will say one thing, Frank, before we get to your leans. Rams +6.5. It's something I've been toying with. Just an idea.
Wow.
And I know Dallas is home, but what did we just say? Dallas? I think the Rams are a decent team, and Dallas seems like they can't pull away from these decent teams. We're getting +6.5. I like it. I don't know what I'll do with it.
I've been liking the Rams since when they first beat Seattle in the first game of the year. We had the Rams last week, and I heard we got screwed over by a first down or something. I don't know what happened in that game, but Pittsburgh came back to win that game. Turnovers. But anyways, I'm with him, but I made my mind up already. There's 2 teams I am not touching anymore, and I can't believe because I've been following Dallas for 4 years.
Are you going to say that you're not betting Dallas anymore?
You know what? Something better happen in Dallas for me to have any kind of confidence to bet on this team again.
Wow, that is crazy for Frank because he's very. Which is crazy because he's not a Dallas.
I made a lot of money on Dallas.
He's not a Dallas fan,
but they're
a
money team.
You just have a really good read on him. Just a really good read.
And we may associate with Cleveland. We've been betting Dallas for years, and it's just they're a money team. We look ahead of the schedule to see what game they're going to kill them. But my God, they're just pathetic.
I mean, they got to prove.
Dak has got to go.
They're in the same
Right. So
Arians
I
the
can't touch
Bengals.
this game. I just can't.
That's fair.
And I agree with him. I mean, it's ugly play, but if you're gonna play it, you gotta take the Rams.
You gotta take the Rams.
You gotta take the Rams. You got two good wide receivers over there still.
Their defense surprisingly looks.
They're getting better.
Okay.
They're getting better.
Let's get to your leads though, Frank. Hit it.
All right. So
You want to talk about gross lines? You're about to hear some gross lines.
this is ugly, but I have the compass. And it's going north. The AFC North. We already got San Francisco against Cincinnati. So, yeah, it's still showing north. So, we're going Baltimore. It's ugly. 8.5 points. It's 2 points over than what it should be.
On the road.
6 point on the road. Arizona's got everybody hurt. I got referees throwing flags. I mean, I'm not gonna watch this game. I'll tell you right now. I've already watched too many games where the referees have just totally destroyed me in the first.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what about this game. It reminds me, and I told Frank this before our podcast. It reminds me of Week 6, 49ers, Browns, Eagles, Jets. Big favorite on the road, coming off a big win. Letdown spot that should never happen because if you're a great team, you need to win those games. You don't have to freaking cover, but you do need to win that game. I just get the heebie-jeebies from this game. I feel like
Well, that's my lead. I just think the quality of Baltimore compared to the quality of Arizona, and I'm getting under 10 points. I got to bet this game. I'm sorry. I mean, again, it's a lean. You know, you folks out there, whoever's the gamblers out there, you have to make that decision. I'm surprised the Sharps have not came up and brought this line down. It still might happen by the end of the week. Again, this is early.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's still Wednesday. Let's see what happens. My second one, of course, we're
sticking to the north.
it's still showing north.
It's still showing
It's
north.
still showing north. So we're gonna go with, and this is ugly too. And he made a good point earlier when we talked about this game. I'm going with the Steelers. Now, I bet against the Steelers 3 times this year. I bet against them in Cleveland. I bet against them Baltimore, and of course against the Rams. So
And you know who was on the Steelers all 3 of those times?
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And you warned, and you told me too. And I don't want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. But anyways, I like the Steelers. It's 2.5. I'll probably buy the half because I do buy points. I might wait till it might go to 3.
It's a fishy line. I don't see how the 49ers are minus 3.5 and the Steelers are plus 2.5. I know you can't really make a ton of correlations between lines, but you're basically.
They're getting points at home.
I know they're getting points at home, but
we talked about earlier how I got clobbered.
But it does seem like a classic letdown spot for the Jags, and this Steelers defense, as we've seen time and time again, can win the game by themselves.
5-2 against the spread, 5-2 straight up. They won 6 out of the last 7 games. I mean, just winning. And Trevor's just getting better and better and better.
Yeah, he's improving.
And I did say earlier I would not bet against Jacksonville this year, but you know what? Again, this is a lean. Pittsburgh. If you do me again this time the other way, I will go to Pittsburgh personally. I'll give J.J. Watson
DeNozo, I believe in you. You got it.
I can run faster than him, I hope, after giving him Nozo. Anyways.
I don't know about all that. Now we might be getting into
Pittsburgh's defense, and this is another hurt, again, a lean. They're ranked 32 in defense. How's this team who's beating some top teams?
Where did you see
I saw it on Oddshark. I think I was reading a preview on there.
Oddshark.
Yeah, it could be. We're going to hear from them, that's for sure.
Oh gosh, please don't do it.
But they're ranked 18th scores against. So they're averaging like 20 points against them.
I mean, but their defense scores, so it's like, why don't you just minus the defensive touchdowns?
And if I get a field goal, and if this game goes 3.5, I'm sold on.
Then it's bet, not lean.
It's a bet and not lean, exactly.
Okay, well, Frank, we've hit our games, we've hit our leans.
I want to mention another game, that team that we were talking about earlier, that I will not touch anymore, and I like to talk about this game. New Orleans.
Ooh. I don't want to talk about this game. Just kidding. I'm fine with talking about this game. I I don't want to talk about it because I'm unsure.
They got.
I like
New Orleans.
I like New Orleans in this spot, and I already told you that I did that teaser bet with the 10 a.m. games. I took Titans, Saints.
Oh, okay.
And oh gosh, what was my last one? Oh, Titans, Saints, and Minnesota. I took them all on Monday. 6-point teaser. They were all plus 7.5. So I like the Saints here, but I just.
Well, my problem's Carr. I think they're going to keep this game close, but Carr cannot score. And then, then he turns around and surprises you.
I know. We're waiting for Carr to be consistent. Because if Carr gets consistent, this offense can hum, and the defense is already there, and they will be a force. And that's what we thought was going to happen at the beginning of the year. You and I both really like the Saints.
They're getting, what, 3?
They're getting 1.
They're getting 1.
On the road.
Okay, I thought they were
plus 1 on the road. Okay.
But I just want to talk about, there is one more other game I want to talk about real quick. Houston, Carolina.
Oh my gosh, why are you bringing up these games?
I love it because these are great matchups. But the money is flying on Houston right now.
I have to go Houston or pass here, just like I have to go Saints or pass. Listen, I probably
goes one way, you better be going the other.
I'm not gonna bet either of these games straight.
Right.
Maybe they come in and tease or play or something like that. I don't tease through 0 though, so probably not on the Houston side. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of people just like to have action. If you're gonna bet this game,
on every parlay card this week.
If you're gonna bet this game, you have to bet Houston, but the line seems off. Houston's coming off a bye. Carolina's coming off a bye. That cancels out.
Nothing to lose. They're gonna be going for 4th downs. They might even do trick plays.
I don't know.
I wouldn't bet this game because it's ugly.
I can't touch this game because I want to bet Houston.
And what did I say last week?
You said if whoever's playing Carolina, I'm playing the other side.
I'm putting money against Carolina the rest of the year.
You did say that.
I did say that, and I should be throwing money on this again. I'm going to probably anyways.
Because
and hope the public is
right. Just like most of our viewers.
Yes, I am. Really. There is some. What's the word for it? I forget how to say it. But anyways, we'll let that go.
Let's ladies and gentlemen, we didn't even talk about our Dakota Dog of the Week or our teaser of the week.
We didn't even pick one before the game.
No, we didn't even talk about it. No. Well, let me pick one, and off the top of your head, just throw it out there.
Okay, hold on, I gotta get my feet. Put it down.
All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you my teaser and my money line. You guys already heard a little bit about my teaser, and I know that this is a little bit of cheating. I'm gonna tease the Titans. If you're telling me I can get the Titans plus 9, the Falcons don't have the defense to blow this, or the offense to blow this Titans team out of the water. They're not going to win by multiple scores. This game is going to be tight through and through. The total is low. I really like the Titans on the teaser. My other bet, my money line bet, you know what, Frank? Just off the top of my head, I mean, I want to go Titans again because I think they win this game outright, but I'm not going to do our viewers like that. I'll ride your Pittsburgh pick. Why not? Let's go Pittsburgh money line. Okay. I like Pittsburgh. Right. What are your money line and teaser picks?
My money line. Okay, this is ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
I love ugly.
I love ugly. In the beginning of the week, when we did our lines, I actually put this as a 1-star bet. I had Jets minus 4.5. He had a pick. Line opened up -3. I'm not sure what it is now.
Still 3.
I'm
Giants?
I'm taking the Giants.
Oh, that's so gross.
It is. It's ugly. Giants turned it around probably near the end of the season last year.
No, they were in it the whole year.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
You know, I don't have time to look at records, but when this is over,
we're going to discuss it.
We're going to discuss this. But anyway, we are going to go have a beer somewhere and watch some basketball, I hope.
I would like that very much.
I like to see that new... that number 1 draft choice is playing.
Victor Wembanyama.
I think that game's late. So when we get out of here, hopefully we'll go have a few beers and see how this kid looks.
I'm about it.
Anyway, Giants. I'm going with the Giants on the money line. I don't know if the quarterback's playing for the Giants, but I think I like the other guy better.
What about your teaser?
All right, teaser. Here we go.
Any day now.
Okay. I gotta bring Detroit down.
I love it.
Gotta bring Detroit down.
Oh my gosh, how about a Detroit, Tennessee teaser? I don't have to put that in right here.
You're still missing.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not bad. Okay, it's not bad. I mean,
No, it's
well,
okay.
no,
Yeah, I give you crap
and
for
I
your
already
picks.
told you I don't,
You can
I
come
don't
give
do
me crap
teasers
for my
no
picks.
more because I have to play 2 of these idiotic games.
You're only getting minus 120. I understand. Okay, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a little bit of a longer
So
podcast.
who's your teaser bet again?
Tennessee.
So our teaser bet's Detroit and Tennessee.
Yeah, we really need to be better about tracking our teaser and dogs of the week, or just get rid of them. You guys leave us a comment and tell us if you want us to keep the Dakota dog of the week and the teaser of the week, or if you just want our picks. And
Speaking
listen.
of Dakota, she's sitting in my car right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll wrap this up. Anyways, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching Let Me Be Frank, Mike, and we will see you next week after we have a winning week, because we're back, baby. Let's cash some tickets, Frank.
Let's do it. And remember, north. Stay north.
Always stay.